T-bucket. Well, the days are winding down and the Hot Rod Power Tour is right around the corner. According to my Rolex watch here, we got about 2 weeks left to the Power Tour, and 9 months ago we started our T-bucket build and never thought this day would come. If you would have asked me 9 months ago if I would be driving a T-bucket with another passenger, you know, my size, 100 pounds, over 1,000 miles, I would have told you were crazy. But as the date started getting closer, I took up that challenge to finish the T-bucket so we could take it on the Power Tour. Now, as the days wind down, our repair list gets longer and longer and longer, and more things keep breaking. But gotta find our list. Now, there's a lot to be said about this kit. There's some highs and there's some lows, and there's a slap yourself silly because you don't understand why they actually did some of the designs that they did on this thing. But hey, it's together. It's questionably safe, maybe safe. It's like riding a cinder block with square wheels as of right now. But let's jump over to the workbench here, because I did forget that we did write our list of to-do things on the Gearheads Garage official merchandise cardboard box lid here. So I've already knocked some stuff out here. I've already done the oil change on the differential. It wasn't actually too bad. It was actually still pretty clean here. I worked on some ground shorts. Wasn't too bad on the ground shorts, but we're still having some minor, maybe major electrical issues behind the dash. RPM gauge still works, our oil, our water, and the fuel's kind of questionable, voltmeter, but the speedometer stopped working, the lights stopped working, and we're just gonna wing it. We don't need to know the speed for the Power Tour. We'll just take educated guesses. But we still need to change the engine oil, which we'll do that right before we hit the road. Got to replace a radiator mount that looks like it may have broken. We got to install a new trunk lid. Well, paint trunk lid install. Ooh, brake pressure. What was, I don't remember that one. Oh, registered. It's registered. We'll talk about that. We've got to do valve adjustment on number 6, steering adjustment, exciter. Ooh, what makes, ooh, I don't remember that one. Brake bracket, that's the most important. We got some grinding going on. Belt tension, grease front end, and we got ourselves some fancy trailer tires for the trailer, because, well, as much as I'd like to tell you guys I'm going to drive this thing from South Florida an additional 800 miles to the Power Tour start, man, you got to be crazy. Now, if you guys saw the last episode, we did have some gremlins we were still working out, and some of the stuff I've actually kind of given up on just because we're running out of time and it's more of optional equipment. Now, what's not optional is actually brakes. And in the last episode, we were having issues with this brake right here and this banjo bolt. And we weren't having problems with the passenger side. So I took it myself to sit in the passenger seat and the driver's seat for a while, doing some deep thinking. And I found that the Vega box on here has so much right and left. Let's just say there's no stops, and the stops are hyperextending this front end. And what's happening is this is turning into this axle, and it's actually pushing the bolt back with the pressure and causing it to loosen up. So what'll happen is after a few or 3 or 4 U-turns, this thing just completely comes loose. Now, I noticed that it wasn't happening to the passenger side here, and only the driver's side, and I found myself that I was only making driver's side U-turns. So one of the things right now we're going to be very careful about is no hard turns to the left, as well as no hard turns to the right here. Now, maybe after the Power Tour or so, what we'll actually do is we'll weld in some stops on the frame, re-clear coat it, that way it doesn't rust, and then we have ourselves a nice little setup. Let's jump over here to the steering, and I'll show you actually what we got going on. Now watch that line there as it pushes the seat. It'll actually hit that front axle, and the steering is not completely turned all the way and maxed out, but it starts to get really, really close, especially on the other side as well. And I don't want to turn it all the way and bump the lines over there, but watch that one. Same setup over there. And that might just be an adjustment on the line as well, just for a temporary fix. But I went ahead, centered out the Vega box, did some minor adjustments to the tie rod ends here. Did a little bit of toe out on both sides to give us a nice center point, which we'll end up doing a test ride once we fix the rear end. So I'm thinking we start out with the hard part first. And I will tell you, getting a company to warranty parts out that you bought over a year ago ain't easy. But you know, when you try to explain to them that nobody can actually build a car in 9 months or under a year, they kind of get your vibe. Now, you ever gotten to that point in your life where you feel like you can take stuff apart with your eyes closed? Well, I can do that here with the driver's side at this point. This thing has come apart so many darn times to try to figure out what's going on. And if you're just joining us here, I'll give you the inside scoop on our little issue here. Zip tie this to the side. Well, all right. Now, for the past couple 100 miles or so, we've had this weird clicky clacky grinding. Doesn't matter if I'm backing up or in a weird turn coming from the left-hand side. So we ended up taking it apart. Did a nice little inspection here. Thought it was originally the brake mounting bracket here, but it's actually the axle bracket that the tab goes into. So we took it all the way down, and you can see here how it's slightly arced backward. So I have an extra one of these. We're not going to replace that. We need to get right down into this one here and pop that sucker out, and that should, we'll do a little test drive, that should fix our issue. Now, it did say should fix our issue, hopefully. This one is completely stripped out. No idea what's going on here. Maybe might have to cut this sucker off here. Now look at that. Look at that. Rip the threads right off the sucker there. What the heck? Yeah, take a look at that. I think that one's done for. Good thing we got some extra hardware here. But that's a weird one there. We'll toss that. And this bracket, we'll double check that, make sure there's no bend in it. I think we're good on that as well. Pull the bad one out. Yeah. So take a look at that there. You can see that arc still. We tried to fix it, but compared to a new one, it's straight. And we have a replacement for the other side too, because they sent me two. Check our seal too, make sure it's fully seating actually, just to be safe. It looks like, oh man, it's a little late in the game to be doing pulling axles and having seals pressed at this point. So, see if we can salvage this for now. How do we have this mounted up in here? Oh. Well, I think it only goes one way. Now, I could never figure out what actually caused that other bracket to bend. I've got a few theories. on what it might have been, but I'm convinced it may have come shipped like that. I thought maybe it would have been kind of not cross-torquing it properly, but as I started looking at it, there's no way that would have caused those to bend, especially the amount of force that was on them, because I didn't use an impact driver. So that looks pretty straight to me there. I know it's probably hard to tell on the camera, but definitely a lot better than that last one was, considering how far we were off. Yeah, look at that. But definitely a big difference there. What I noticed though, look at this lug. Got ourselves a broken lug. So probably just have to, too late for full replacements right now. So I'm just gonna weld that sucker in place right quick, and then we'll put the brake on and I think we'll be set. So I value life just as much as the next person, and welding next to 15 gallons worth of fuel ain't on my bucket list here. And neither is welding in shorts either. All right. Be a winning night if we can get a full bead all the way around. Man, ooh, ouch. See if we get a nice, put the sucker in neutral and turn it and get the other side. Sure we get the right one. All right, Scotty, give me full power here. Harbor Freight for the win. We're doing pretty good. Get one more on there. All right, I think we are ready to go. That's nice and locked in there. That sucker ain't going nowhere. You know, I'm thinking we do one more for good measure here, but you know, I can already see the comments now. Oh, I didn't know you knew how to weld. That's why I thought you got a kit car and you didn't build the T-bucket yourself. I was just lazy. Now I'm hoping this is actually the last time that this goes together, but I've heard T-buckets are a constant battle. But it just means we have to make more episodes. All right. This thing looks straight already, actually. Not too bad. you know, already looking at this thing looks 1,000 times better. I'm really hoping this does a job here on the sound. Never affected the performance. It was just annoying. Oh yeah, especially when you look from the top here. You can already tell there's a huge difference. Let's jump to the other side really quick. Take a look at that one. Oh yeah. Jump back over here. Wow. Wow, night and day difference from before. So I'm thinking it might still be loud in the beginning till we kind of smooth out the pads and everything gets set back in. But we'll jump over to the front, get the steering all tightened up there. And then once we get the radiator bracket replaced, take it out for a test drive and check out our janky lug nut we welded in there as well. So now that that sucker's done, what are you doing? You look guilty. What did you do? There you go. Good girl. I think we can go ahead and mark some stuff off our list here. See where we're at here. List keeps just getting bigger and bigger. I think we're adding more to it than we're striking off here. So brake brackets out of the way. I think I did some steering adjustment already. We're gonna mark that one out and put a giant question mark. That's gonna be one that we just gotta keep going back to. Haven't done that. Oh, trailer tires. Just actually knocked that one out. We welded that. I think we're good. So, what do you think, girl? What do you think we should work on next? Man, what do you think? Well, I think we got some trunk lids here. I'm kind of dreading this one here. I mentioned we got a little overzealous at a stoplight here and completely lost the trunk lid that we spent all kinds of time on, making it all beautiful. So we got to make another one. Now, I ended up having to order 2 separate ones. Well, I ordered one and it came damaged. I don't know why. Wasn't packaged in any foam. And then I got a replacement one, which I think they took the hint and nice and packaged. So we shouldn't have any damage here. This one we could have fixed, but for the price, nah, we need one that doesn't need any Bondo. And I was afraid on that corner here over some time of bumping on the side of the T-bucket. It'll just kind of wear away. Oh, you know what? Since we're over here, let's just go ahead and mark this one off the list. This is a difficult one. All right. Exciter. We don't need that because it gets excited by itself. You know, this new garage would have been nice about 9 months ago when we built the T-bucket. But at least we got plenty of room for shenanigans now. Wish I had a third arm. Oh man, I think I may have gotten duped on that other one I ordered. Only for the fact this one's wrapped in plastic. And it looks like it's new versus the other one, which looks like it was returned. But I'm definitely having flashbacks because you guys remember that sticker that was baked into the gel coat? Oh yeah. Yeah, they're back with a vengeance there. That'll be a fun one. But we can get some nice measurements on here. Doesn't look like we really need any trimming on the bucket, thank God. There's no trimming on the actual truck bed itself. But what I'm gonna do on this one is I'm gonna reinforce the bottom of it so it actually sits on the gas tank. We're gonna do some eyelet holes, some mounts, may drill a hole for the gas. I'd hate to have to keep taking this off and on to actually fill it up because I'm only getting, I think we're only doing about 190 to 200 miles for an entire tank. So definitely gonna need to access that gas hole there. But I think we'll do the same thing here. We're gonna Raptor line it. We'll get it prepped. I may do a Bulldog coat on it. Not too sure. I think that Raptor will stick, but man, talk about PTSD. Those are gonna be a fun one right there. Maybe we'll do fuel cap hole. But I haven't figured out what color we're gonna do this just yet. So tank ends about here, batteries about here. This will be a no-no area, no touch. And then what we'll probably do, get some wood cut. Don't need exact measurements, not the best line I've ever driven, but you can do wood for support, and then wood for support. So maybe run like a, I don't know, we'll see what we got left over in the other garage, cut some stuff down. We'll leave that in the middle. Now, I want to use it for actual storage here. I'm thinking about doing the mat like we did originally, and then we ended up covering it up with Raptor liner, but I want this to be usable. And if I paint it with the mat, first thing you put up here, after a couple 100 miles, it'll buff it gloss. Because, well, when you buff matte paint, it becomes glossy. So we got to be super careful, but just enough support. We do like a duffel bag, a boom box, an umbrella, some beach chairs, and make it all comfortable and whatnot. So got a little lazy. I could have ran it through a table saw, but I didn't want to go get the table saw. So those are nice and planed down. What we can do is add a little bit of liquid nail. Yeah, I think my tube's drying out there. I promise you, I graduated kindergarten. My gluing tactics aren't on par, but it'll work. So we'll let these suckers dry for about a month or two. That way the Elmer school glue here can set in place, and then it'll be nice load bearing. We can put all our friends up here, let them hang out, maybe put like one of those big giant poles with the slip resistant floor. And I'm just kidding. We got to figure out a way to haul the stuff for the power tour. So this is the best I can come up with for right now. Kind of alleviates the weight on this, well, non-load bearing area back here. Purely cosmetic. But while that's drying, let's move up to the radiator, because I noticed something the other night when I was driving. I hit a bump, and you can ignore the bulge in the radiator lower tube there. That's AI. That's not real. Look at that. So I tried to tighten it up, and it just won't tighten up. So I think it might actually be stripped, or something's going on the other end there. So I do have a replacement one. We'll go ahead and chop that sucker off, drop in a new one, and get this thing where it doesn't have too much wiggle. It's not really wiggling too much right now, but with that here, that's just a little bit concerning. Try the obvious first and see if we can use an impact driver to get this sucker off. Wow, that ain't even working either. Damn. All right, we need the big boy battery here. See if this works out. That cutoff grinder's looking better and better. Well, the caveman tools don't work. The old DeWalt don't work. This is a hard one. I wonder if it can actually stay loose, and then when it heats up and it expands, the spring tightens up, because that's pretty much the purpose of these. The other one's tight. I don't really actually have any wobble really, just a little up front, but that's not any crazy flex here. I wonder if we should just leave it the way it is. I'll take an extra one on the tour with me just in case. I mean, we really don't even have to use this. You could hard mount it with a little piece of rubber and a bolt and let it be. That nut on the bottom though, It is on. It's not like it's coming off, but it is stripped. Definitely stripped. The bolt is spinning within the nut itself. And I put this on with hand tools. So I did not use an impact driver that I remember. So I couldn't have screwed it up too much, but yeah, we'll leave it for now. Good enough. Well, it's a new season and we've given it enough time. But for some reason, this one's set. And this one did not. I don't know what's going on here. It's still kind of loose. I may just need to get the extra super duper powerful Liquid Nail 3000 and slap it on there and see if that makes a difference. This one's set fine. I clamped them both, but this one's really hindering me on getting it primed up and getting it lined out. So, see if we can grab another tube of glue. Well, I don't think I have another tube of glue in my mess on the counter. Well, let's run to the store. We'll be back. This time we're gonna bust out the monkey goo, and hopefully Mr. Monkey can hold this in and we can get this sucker glued in here, since this is just not holding. And man, this stuff is some thick stuff here. All right, well, since this isn't gonna come out of the tube, and I have no idea what the heck. All right, this is what we're gonna do. Let's find that drill. Let's find that drill. All right, we're going full send on this one. If this doesn't work, we're gonna have to take it back. All right, since the other way don't work, yeah, that worked. Nice. All right, temp number 10,000. Let's try this again. Oh, we got glue. Oh man, this stuff is already pretty sticky. Let's do this one too. Did this one actually stick? Huh. Well, we're gonna just run a bead because we'll prime over it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Man, this is some rickety stuff here. Good thing nobody else is gonna see it, right? All right. Well, I'd say this is dry enough. It's amazing what they can do with this Raptor liner, considering dinosaurs have been extinct for a very long time. While I do actually like the way this came out, it is not the same product as what we originally used here. So it appears that they may have actually changed the formula. When it went on, it looked just like this. It looked nothing like that. It appears that they may actually be pre-adding the silica sand or the anti-skid whatever into the actual compound now, which I have to say, I don't know, kind of having a little bit of mixed thoughts here. Didn't think it was going to turn out like that, but actually still doesn't look too bad. Unfortunately, it doesn't really match our interior. It seems the older one we used back in January has a little more of, it's not as rough and it's a little more glossy. And even when you look at the side of the T-bucket here, it's also a different product than that up here. But still, I would say it looks pretty good and it's gonna do what we need to do. But we do actually have to mount it now. Man, actually, you know what, now that I keep looking at it, I do kind of like it. So 3D printer to the rescue again on this one here. If we can get it off, there we go. And what I went ahead and did was printed out some solid triangles, threw them in here with some of our monkey goo. These are not going anywhere. And then what I'm going to end up using is I have some race hood pins, which will drill through the top, drill here, mount them from the bottom, and then it'll give us a nice kind of, I don't know, performance, hood pin performance look. But we needed something that we could mount to. And I think at 100% infill from the 3D printer, I think these will work just fine. So I'm known for cutting twice, measuring once. But we'll see, I think 3 and 3 will give us a rough estimate there. 4 and 4, or maybe 3. All right, I got a general idea. Well, doesn't appear the tape sticks to this. Well, let's try that again. Then over here, I think we said either 6 or 7, or maybe it was 4. And then 3. These are some rough, definitely some rough measurements, I'll admit. Definitely some rough measurements. I'm a little nervous here. Yeah, that'll be fine. We'll arm the hole out. See how big this bolt is here. 12.4. Ooh, it's gonna be the biggest one in the hole. What we can always do is just put a fender washer behind it now. Oh yeah, now that'll work. Oh, this is working nice, especially with the PLA we used to print with this. It's just soft enough that it's actually threading down. We might need to adjust these, we'll see, once we get the little jam nut on. Now I'll admit, I looked at a lot of pictures on the internet to try to see how everybody was actually mounting their trunk lids on their T-bucket, and I'll tell you what, never really get a clear photo. It's almost like it's a mystery. Everybody's a little different on how they do it. Speedway says to run Velcro here. I say that's dumb. I'm not running Velcro. Maybe industrial Velcro, but hood pins are cool. And I think this might be a T-bucket first here. I've yet to see somebody run hood pins for trunk pins. Yeah, hood pins, trunk pins. All right, let's test these holes. Look at that. Perfect fit. That only took like 6 hours. Pull that tape off there. And what we can do for these, we have some nice little trim rings that'll go here. And then just like that, like that. And then, see if we got room. We might have to adjust a pin. Oh man, that's perfect. That is perfect. All right. Let's drill those suckers in really quick. I think we're set with that. All right, let's check our final fitment here. There we go. We're gonna have to get all this fiberglass cleaned up. All right. That is on there. Let's get that drill out of the way, get a good shot. So it looks pretty good to me. I'd say I may end up 3D printing some chrome ones. These kind of suck, but it'll work for now. I'm surprised they went pretty good with the hardware here, but the rings are a lot to be, yeah, but not too bad. We'll get it cleaned up. Honestly, I think this Raptor liner, this different formula, I guess is what it is, actually kind of growing on me. But with the pens, it actually finally looks like it's almost finished there. So, but yeah, we'll test it out at a stoplight and goose it, see if it slides off. But I do like, now we can actually put some weight on here and travel nicely. Let's see where we're at here. Trunk lid's done, trunk lid mount. And we fixed that one already. And then still got that left. And this is a questionable one. Doing what we did helped out, but we still got to go for a drive and see how that works out. All right, so we're pretty much roadworthy. I think we're done for the day. I heard there's a small car show going on in town, so I think we're gonna take the T-Bucket, go see if we can win ourselves a trophy and maybe some free little goodies. Hey, there ain't many T-Buckets in town, so I think we'll do pretty good. Still a few things that we gotta do since we're 2 weeks out. Still gotta prep the Duramax and the trailer, drop all the lubes in here, which we'll do in our next episode before we hit the road for day one. I'll see you guys. I always appreciate you following the channel. See you next time.